Hope Channel viewers are loyal, encouraging friends and neighbors to watch. Why? Our viewers believe that Hope Channel not only enhances living, but changes lives through its compelling lineup of programs. Documentaries take subscribers around the world and back through time, visiting places where history was made. Fascinating biographies open up the lives and times of people who made a difference. Travel programs transport the viewer around the world, demonstrating how people work together to make a better planet. Inspirational programming challenges viewers to experience the joy of discovering faith values and offer spirituality as an important part of a balanced lifestyle. Health and lifestyle programs teach disease prevention and make healthy living simple and attractive. Hope Channel programs provide invaluable support for developing healthy relationships and strong communities. Welcome to donor-supported Hope Channel.
Christmas, they say, is for children. And we know for a fact that children has a very long list of wishes that they would want to have on a Christmas day. But when you have been through a lot already, and if given a chance that you were given a wish, what wish would that be? And so, Dynamic Living, the Totally, would like to present our episode on All I Want for Christmas. I am very much honored to have with me here my guests who will be sharing their experiences as well as their wish list maybe, and who knows, these wishes may be granted by the Creator above. So I'd like to introduce first the lady on my right. We have here Mrs. Laura Febrero. Good evening po sa inyo.
Good evening, Doctora.
And of course, we have her better half, her bedroom partner. We have Mr. Everardo Febrero. Good evening, Sir Eve.
Good evening, Doctora. It's happy to be here at Dynamic Living.
And of course, hindi kompleto ang ating show kung wala naman tayong medyo mas bata sa ating tatlo. I'd like to welcome to the show Ken Ganza. Good evening sa iyo, Ken.
Good evening, Doctora. I'm just honored and blessed to be here tonight.
Yes, and we shall be blessed also to hear your story as you share that with us. Please tell us about your family conditions before a tragedy struck your family.
Well, we're a pretty normal family. My mom, my dad, my brothers and sisters. Well, before this tragedy, well, who would have thought that, I mean, this is a scenario. Our house is on top of a hill, realistically, and there is no chance of us getting flooded. However, there's just this one big tree that apparently fell down on our house.
So, nadali kayo, nadamay kayo dahil because of the tree?
Oh, because of the tree. And what's really scary is it didn't snap from the roots, it snapped halfway. That's how strong the wind was.
Yes. And this happened how many years ago?
Sendong, a few years back. Yes.
Few years back.
Yes.
So when you heard, every time you hear, you know, storm signals being, you know, given to us, how does it make feel? How does it make feel? You know, how do you feel about it?
One word for me is it's a reminder. Every time it reminds me.
And does it strike fear in your heart that once again, wherever you are, it may again affect you?
It made me and my family ready, really.
At least,
Yes.
no, that's one thing good that came out of it.
Yes.
Sa inyo naman po, Ma'am Sir Eve, Ano po nangyari sa inyo? Kasi yung kay Ken, it was more of a tragedy brought by a storm. Yung sa inyo, what happened?
Actually, it was a fine Saturday morning, last October 25, when we're having our breakfast. The three of us, my wife Laura, and my daughter Golda. Of course, as normally we pray before we eat or before we take our breakfast, and then I asked permission to go out because I'm going to have a change in the spark plug of our car, nearby automotive shop. And later on, 20 minutes after, they called me up, and I heard in the cell phone that they're already shouting, and I understand it was really a tragedy or something like an emergency in the house, that both of them are shouting, and I could hear people already swarm the house, different shouting while the house was burning during the time.
So, nandun kayo, ma'am, nung nangyari yung sunog. You were really right there in the middle of it kasi si Sir was out there.
Yes, Doctora. I was washing our plates, and my daughter was in the kitchen also, washing the utensils there because she was the one cooking our breakfast. Then maybe it's more or less 8:45 in the morning.
Maaga, no?
Yeah.
Kasi ang alam natin, ang sunog usually sa hapon, tanghaling tapat, di ba? Hindi kagaya sa mga bagyo, it can happen at the middle of the night. Yung sa inyo, Ken, balikan kita, nangyari yun at the middle of the night?
Between 12 midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning. So really, it was very difficult for you to be able to prepare because you must be fast asleep at the time.
Actually, I was on my way to work. Because my work starts at 1. I mean, that time.
So sa inyo, ma'am, what happened? Was it a faulty wiring?
I think so, Doktora. Kay sa pagkahuman naman sa sunog, dito na namo gi-recall kung unsay problema ako.
Pero ang imo nadungog ato was naining buto, tapos nag-aso na dayon.
Actually, wala ko makadungog sa pagbuto kay ang akong hunahuna ato, dito nakakonsentrate ko sa pagpaminaw sa local nga balita sa radyo. Ang ako na anak, pagsinggit na niya nga, ma, nagbuto sa kwarto ni Kuya Lindon. Sundan na yung pag-ingon niya nga, ma, maliliman ang aircon sa may kitchen namo. Malilian man niya ang aircon. Siya, ma, nagkalayo ang aircon. I was about to open the door of that room, kay close man siya. Nakita ko niya nga ready na akong kamot pag pero nag-step na ko mga left at my left mga 2 steps na akong maabot ko na yun, hapit ko na maabot ang room. Siya, ma, ayo ablihi mo to nga tanaw na mo dagan unta ko dito sa may telephone para matawag para sa emergency nga call sa fire. Di naman maabot kay paghangad na ako seconds lang itong nang aso akong nakita sa among ceiling. Kunya akong i-attempt na po mas layo man ang circuit breaker kaysa telephone. So di na gyud siya madagan. Di na ko kalko na tumurag galutaw na akong
Parang were you afraid to move or unsa day ning sulod sa imong hunahuna?
Blanco ko. Di ko kasabot sa akong ang nagdirect lang sa ako ang tingog sa akong anak kung unsay isulti mao to akong gisunod lang.
So ning gawas ka mo sa balay.
Siya pag ingon niya dagan man niya murag iya kong alalayan ko sa likod niya nga sa likod nako nga iya kong mapagawas diretso sa sulod sa balay.
Yes, sa imo nga adto nga sir, you know, hearing nanawag sa imong family and they were in a panic already that there was a fire going on inside your house. What was your reaction?
Really, I was really afraid na they'll be in danger or harm's way during the time. I even told the mechanic to make it fast so I can go back. So within about 2 minutes, the vehicle was fixed already, the car. Then I went back to our house there. Then I was running because I did not park my car near the house. It's very far from the house. So when I arrived there, I saw the fire. I saw the house was already burning, and they were already outside safe. But then, it's a pity that we're going to. It's just really an awful experience for me as the head of the family, to watch the house already on fire.
And how long has that house been there, sir, sa inyong life?
I think we built that, and the building was finished during 2000, something like year 2000.
So matagal na din. You stayed there. That was your home for how many years? That's almost 14 years.
Yeah.
So it really made you feel so bad when it happened.
Really, ma'am.
Actually, that before that house, we assumed it. That was 1990. It was not that house yet. So
But you already lived there.
We already
kumbaga,
lived there. Same location.
Same location. So kumbaga, you saw it from the time na you lived there in 1990 to the time na napalaki ninyo to where it was, and then it happened. Parang ganon. So medyo masakit talaga siya.
Talagang masakit, doktora. Kasi the old house, we changed, we renovated the new one in the year 2000. So that was the house that was got raised by fire.
Kumbaga, lahat ng inyong pagod, lahat ng inyong pera na ibuhos niyo doon, and the happy memories that you had, diba? Bringing up your children and family there.
When they were still in their young years, in their elementary years, until they finished their college course. So all the memories there were there.
So, puntahan ko naman si Ken. You say inyo, Ken, when it happened, you said it was between 12 to 1 in the morning.
Yes.
And then, you know, parang, how did you feel about it when you saw na, oops, teka, nawala na din yung bahay ko. What happened?
Well, from the start of it all, when it snapped and fell down, we were in it.
So you were all
inside
the house. Kasi gabi it was nighttime. Everybody must be sleeping. Your parents, no, except you, because you were getting ready for work.
Yes.
And so what happened? Everybody had to wake up and
everybody had to wake up, and you know, when you wake up to something you're not prepared for. I was a little bit prepared because I was up when it happened. Perhaps like their example, at first you don't really know what to do, but then things start coming together, and okay, I need to prioritize
what to take out.
Yes.
And how to get out.
And how to get out. So it pays to at least know how to get out of your house, even if there are no lights.
How long have you been staying in that house? Since
About
you were a baby? Wow.
8 to 9 years. Because we never really had a house here, because my mom's from Zamboanga.
So that was your house here in Cagayan?
Yes.
And so you stayed there and you grew up there. So when it happened, what entered your mind? Did you start thinking like, why did it happen to us? I mean...
Well, there have been a lot of things that had happened to my family that are, well, I think far worse than that. Okay, so I just looked at it as a challenge, because I don't think he would give us something
that you can carry.
We can't handle.
Yeah, you mentioned something like you had more difficult times than just losing that particular house. So, kumbaga, you were already prepared for this challenge, so to speak.
Yes, my mom actually made us ready for these things. Because when we were little, she never really liked the idea of getting house help. So we had to do stuff on our own. So that wasn't so difficult for us. Yes.
Okay. Yung sa inyo naman po, sir, balikan ko po yung sa inyo. So ano pong pumasok sa isipan ninyo when your house was razed to the ground, all your ipon, everything that you had, all the happy memories were there also. What was it that entered your mind? Did it ever occur to you na, God, bakit nangyari ito?
The first reaction that I have was, I did not have any, something like, I'm blaming the Lord for this tragedy that that happens to us. But I believe that tragedy even make me more stronger into our faith, because I believe that the incident was a part of life's trial. Because I know it's not the fault of the Lord, it's not the fault of us, and the accident really just happened. So it never entered into my mind that I will be blaming God for the tragedy that happened to our family.
Sa inyo naman po, Ma'am Laura, iba kasi ang babae sa lalaki. Ang lalaki ata mas objective sila. Tapos para bang ang feeling kasi ang mga lalaki, they're stronger, they're made of sterner stuff than women. And so they feel like that, nako, it's okay, we can, you know, rise again. Pero ikaw, being the mother, the woman, the wife, and syempre, iba kasi ang babae pag humawak ng bahay, di ba? So when it happened, what entered your mind?
Actually, nanak ko sa gawas. Pag ingon sa akong anak nga dagan, diyan ako sa gawas niya. Ang among silingan, sige ko gabirahon kay dili sila gusto nga makakita ko nga gasunog among balay.
Nahulog ang balay.
Nya dili ko makahilak. Nya nagtindog lang ko ila kong gabirahon pero mo kuang ilog ko nagpaatbang lang ko. Ako lang kita na among balay nga nagkalayo na. Ang ako lang nabutang sa nasulod sa akong nauna, Lord, ikaw na'y bahala. Ikaw bahala sa tanan. Wala ko'y mahimo, ikaw na tanan kay di ko makasabot, di ko mahibaloon sa akong isulti sa akong hunahunaon o sa akong buhaton. Surrender na ako sa imo tanan, Lord. Nagtanaw lang ko sa among balay nga nagkalayo na.
Naghila ka ikaw siguro?
Wala po. Dili ko ka, mga among mga silingan na may nakasulti sa ako nga few days after nga nag-uol sila nagtanaw sa ako kay dili ko no ko gahilak. Ang ako na noong mga anak nga pag-abot sa akong upat man ako among anak, ang akong kauban ato at the time among youngest. So pag-abot sa among mga anak, sila noon ang grabe ka hysterical. Ako na noon nagkalma-kalma sa ila ko nga ayaw mo paghila kay that's only house, our structure. So nakita ko nila nga maski ang akong son-in-law iingnan niya ang wife among daughter nga ika-third child namo tanawa si mama wa mga ni naghilak pero deep inside me murag kakunuton akong dughan akong kasing-kasing nga dili ko makasabot dili na akong ma-express ang kaguol na akong nagtan-aw ko pero ang akong nag-focus na lang gyud ko sa akong prayer, Lord, thy will be done. Mo na akong giuna-una lang nga kung imo ning gihatag di gyud ko nimo pasagdan.
Who was the greatest help to you at the time that it happened? Who gave you the most help, Ken?
I think it's something that I couldn't touch because like from their experience when you ask them about did you ever question the Lord why this happened? Actually, the first thing in my mind was not the questioning. It was, Lord, I hope we're okay. I hope we're gonna be okay. Something like that. So it was fairly the opposite of what other people might think of.
Yes. Kasi yung iba naman at the other end, sometimes they go through that.
Yes.
Pero during the time and immediately after, who gave you who helped you? The neighbors, the rest of the family, so that you would be able to rise again?
Actually, first of all, yes, my family, my friends, and some people that I don't even know. Yes.
So they gave you shelter.
Yes.
At the time that you needed a shelter.
The neighbors gave us shelter, really.
Was there somebody in your life na you thought na who would be there to help you out in moments like this na that didn't come through or pull through?
Some relatives. Some relatives.
Na you expected to be there and yet they weren't there.
Yes.
Sa inyo naman po, Sir, when that happened, who were there to help you immediately?
Actually, I would like to thank the Lord for so many people who helped us. I never thought that these people who are not known to us were there to help us. Of course, the barangay chairman or barangay patag was there, the council, and the people, the neighborhood were there actually helping us. But then they cannot help too much because it's only the bomberos, the fire truck that will actually stop the fire from continuing to
But they were
raise.
there. Kumbaga, yung community ninyo tumulong talaga.
Yes, Doktora.
Pero yung sa inyo naman, Ma'am Laura, immediately after, homeless na kayo. Wala na kayong mga gamit, wala lahat. So, sino po kagad ang umagapay sa inyo?
Actually, yung mga kasama sa trabaho ng anak namin na babae, yung mga, kasi yung anak namin na babae, si Margaret, Ayet, her nickname is Ayet, employed siya as medrep sa Unilab. Yung mga superiors niya was there, mga kasamahan niya sa trabaho, mga medreps, pumunta sa bahay namin, and then yung isa sa mga boss niya nag-offer na, "Ma'am, sir, you're already booked at Country Village Hotel this
so, doon
evening."
kayo tulong.
Oh, doon kami, nakabook na kami. And then, our barangay chairman, Mary Corcalizo, also gave us cash assistance immediately. And one of the kagawads...
So, yung feeling ba na talagang kahit na nangyari yon, meron talagang mga taong tumulong sa inyo?
Yeah, we're very much thankful for them. Kay ang support nila, nakita dayon namo nga we didn't expect nga muanha dayon sila. So manay nagpadalag paniud to katong kagawad namo, nagpadalag pagkaon ang among iyaan nga at bang rapod namo nagpadala pod og lunch, doble among paniud to. Nya abot-abot dayon nagdala og kanang mga clothing,
mga panggamit, pang-personal.
Oo.
Kasi syempre, kayo at a loss kayo, anong gagawin ninyo which happened also sa inyo siguro, Ken, you know? So what was one thing, what was your wish at the time when the tragedy happened? Like, did you wish na, never mind the house, important is all of us should be safe?
That was exactly what I thought, because, well, I can really relate to their experience that they were all strong when they went out the house, although they were really sad and deep inside they may have cried. But, well, the lives in that house made it a home. So even without that structure, it is still a home.
Kasi magkakasama pa rin kayo lahat. So sa inyo po, sir, at the time of the tragedy, what was your wish?
I would like to repeat what my son said, that our house was burned, but our home was not. So I was struck with that statement that indeed the structure of the house was burned, but our relationship as parents and children were very, very strong. It was during the time that I feel their health, there's so much involved in parts of transferring some of the things that we can still use, and the reactions, the plans and the future, how would we move on, and financially even, and they talk about
and when we
financially.
return, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll try to discuss what were your plans immediately after that. Please stay tuned.
We are people, and we love to get connected. We connect as families because of birth. We connect as friends because we click. And we connect as communities because we care. Seventh-day Adventists are people who connect in communities called congregations, which in turn connect to form conferences, who connect together to form unions, divisions, and the General Conference. Why do we connect? It starts with a connection to the Creator, who invites us on a spiritual journey. When we journey together, we can help each other along the way. This journey is a journey of a lifetime, and as we learn and grow, life becomes filled with meaning and purpose. Our greatest joy is in helping others along the way. Wherever you are on your journey, we believe that we have something to offer that can make your life more whole. So the next time you see a Seventh-day Adventist, remember, you're not looking at someone who stands alone. They are connected to a world church that has 18 million members, gathered in 13 divisions, comprised of 122 unions, formed by 600 conferences, serving in 140,000 congregations in 208 countries, who worship in 924 languages, and they all want to connect with you.
Sir, unsay handom nimo karong Pasko para sa imong kaugalingon o sa imong pamilya?
Well, I'm asking our Savior that I will be always in good health. My family the same, just the same. Peace in Cagayan de Oro. Both parties must have to reconcile.
Ang paghandom lang na ako sa mayong panglawas. Salamat ko nga na ako nagkuhan panginabuhian.
Ang mahandom lang sa akong galingon is karong Pasko is kanang makahatag pa ko more on love sa akong pamilya, sa atong loved ones, o sa uban pa nga kanang maka-benefits sa spirit sa Christmas.
For me, if it's a material thing, siyempre more gadgets since mahilig ko mga gadgets. But for my family, siyempre good health and traditional na magid sa mo na every Christmas na kompleto mi. Kauban mi tanan, although it is simple or bongga na handa, at least kauban na mo tanan among pamilya.
Ang tagaan ako kuan nga taas nga panahon sa akong pamilya karong nga Pasko kay murag taas-taas na magud nga time nga wala koy spend sa ila o tagaan po na ako sila love o importansya para karong Pasko para ma-feel nila gikan sa ko nga love na ko sila bisag wala kayo koy time sa ila. Ug sa akong kaugalingon unta buhi pa ko anang Pasko.
Welcome back to Dynamic Living the Total You with our episode, All I Want for Christmas. So, balikan ko po yung aking mga guests, no? After relating to us what they went through during the tragedy of Sendong, kay Ken, and the burning down of the house, their home, of Mr. and Mrs. Febrero. I'd like to ask you as a follow-through to that. So, you know, it must have taken you time to rise again. Kasi naman, hindi naman biro yung pinagdaanan ninyo. You know, losing your homes from a flooding and from a fire, it does not mean immediately you would be able to recover. So, how long did it take for your family, Ken, to be able to, you know, have a semblance of normalcy after that?
I try to not think of the time, but maybe months after that. But this is really something that really tried us because months after that, because I had money, I saved money to rebuild the house and everything. However, my mom then was in the ICU for a month.
She was sick,
very sick. Yes.
Oh. So in other words, you were not yet up from what struck you as a tragedy losing everything that you had materially, now your mom became hospitalized.
Yes.
So how did you go through during those difficult times?
Prayer is one. Prayer, family, friends, and even workmates, really.
Helped you?
They surprised me so much. Yes, they made a fun run that I even joined that I didn't know it was for me. I was shocked. Really, I couldn't really explain how there are people who would make this initiative of helping you. I mean, there must be some kind of divine intervention.
In other words, these were the people who you never thought that would be there to help you out in your direst need.
Yes.
Sa inyo naman po, Ma'am Laura, at the time, from the time that it happened, so that was only a few months, Diba? October lang yun,
October 25.
Today is only December. So it will be 2 months by the time Christmas is already here. So how are you from the time that it happened?
Honestly, I am not yet 100% okay.
Of course, that's expected. Kasi ma'am, pag sinabi niyo, I'm 100% okay, then I would say, oops, teka, that's abnormal.
Yes, same as Ken. Number one, prayers. It made me strong. So without it, I think I cannot move on. So my faith in God is my best. I think the best thing that I have in me.
Okay, to help you survive the tragedy. Sa inyo naman, Sir Eve, that's less than 2 months. So I'm very sure you're very busy now planning and doing things in order to restore what you need to restore. Because before we took the break, you told me na meron kayong mga plans after that. So immediately, a week after ba, 2 weeks after, did you start planning how na you have to move forward, you have to build again? Where will you build or rebuild the old house? So did it go through that, or maybe hindi muna kasi parang, teka, pahinga muna ako at hindi ko pa alam anong gagawin ko?
Doctor, it was really a nightmare during the time when the tragedy, the incident happened. 2 weeks after the fire, after the house was burned, the plan of rebuilding is there already in the mind, but superficial because our focus was on how to follow up documents and papers for the insurance claim that we're going to have, because the house was insured. But again, there are a lot of problems confronting us in regards to the getting of mga documents or requirements from the Bureau of Fire and from the adjusters. So this is actually a nightmare for us because some of the requirements were very hard for us to get. For example, Doctora, the building permit, it's one of the requirement of the adjuster. And then we thought that there was no building permit when we occupied the house, when we bought it in 1987. And then
because we just assumed it.
Yeah. And then
so kung baga, ngayon niyo lang na-discover na ang dami palang problema. Nung kailangan yun na talaga, hindi niyo mahagilap yun lahat. And that's going to be a nightmare. Kung baga, mas nightmare pa yata yan kaysa nung nakita ninyo yung nangyari, di ba? Para hindi mo alam anong gagawin. Teka, saan kaya ako? Where will I start? Di ba?
Actually, Doctora, we cannot sleep during the time on how to proceed with, because we are stuck on the requirements of the building permit. But God is so good. When it was researched in the office of the building officials, we found out that there was a building permit. And so that building permit that was used by the previous owner was the one that are being used by us, requested by us. So it would be okay na because...
So medyo maluwag na ng konti. Kumbaga, there's now a light under the tunnel. So medyo liwanag na ng konti.
That's exactly.
So balikan ko ito si Ken. Si Ken, did your mom recover from the time that she was, for a month, she stayed in the ICU?
Oh, yes.
So that's another miracle story in your life.
Yes.
So how is your living condition now compared to, if you were to compare your living condition now with what happened before Sendong, broke your home? So would you say that you are more comfortable now, you are richer in terms of material things by faith or whatever?
For material things, it would be, well, pretty normal, but not the same as what we...
Before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were some changes from the time on.
Spiritually, though, we have been stronger, really.
And your relationship as a family?
Oh, yes.
So it brought you closer?
My mom can even just laugh about it now.
So hindi na siya masyadong nalulungkot. Maybe that's what brought her to the ICU. You know, the inner turmoil, the inner things that she did not show you during the time that it happened.
And that's a very good point, because she does not ever tell us if she's feeling sad or unhappy. She just keeps it to herself. She's really good like that.
So ibang ano pala talaga ang nanay, ano, because ang nanay siya yung nagkikip eh. Kagaya sa inyo po, Ma'am Laura, no. Kaya siguro hindi umiyak because you don't want to show your husband or your children na kumbaga it's the end of the world. You wanted to be strong for them.
I think so. So that everything will be okay. I must be okay.
Pero inside you wanted
But inside me, yes.
Did you seek help? Like for example, kasi meron tayong tinatawag na mga post-traumatic stress disorders, saka yung mga tinatawag nating depression, and sometimes we have to go through all the, you know, the phases of that para tayo bumalik sa dati kung meron man tayong babalikan. Did you ever think na kailangan ko ng tulong ng isang specialista for me to be able to get through it, and so that once and for all I can move forward?
Many advised me to do that. There must be stress debriefing. But because of the requirements, we are catching up with the fire department and the adjuster of the insurance. We opted to take vacation in our place in Surigao. We were there for 10 days to unwind. So it helped a lot.
So kung baga nakakatulog na kayo na mahimbing, hindi na kayo parang gustong umiyak pa, mga ganyan.
It really helped us.
Sa inyo naman po, Sir Eve, iba kasi ang babae kasi more of emo kasi ang babae. Ang mga lalaki kasi hindi yan So sa inyo po, never naman ninyo naisip na kailangan ninyo na mag-stress debriefing kayo?
We heard that. I mean, there are a lot of people who were advising us, as my wife said. But we just forget it and we just move on. And we try to focus more on what can be done this day for the requirements that we are facing. And then, of course, Doctora, the prayer really helps. And our involvement in the church and the people who share with us their help. And some of the officials in the government will help us so much. So all these things were just forgotten, and we just move on. We can sleep now.
So would you say then you have found joy in life again?
Of course, Doctora. Really, I mean, thank the Lord for the life. The second, I may say, a second life. Although we're away from harm's way. But of course, with the house that is burning, you lose a lot, materially. But then. Again, this is a form of trial by the Almighty God, how strong we are in our faith.
What about you, Ken? Because there's a difference. You were right there at the middle of it, diba?
Yes.
And everything fell apart. And then your mom got very sick. Would you say that you have found joy again now, after all of these tragedies that has hurt you and you've been through?
I believe so, yes. I mean, I can still see them every day. I mean, life is something we can't really get a hold of, because eventually we are all going to perish. But I guess them still being there till today, and even hopefully a lot longer, makes me really happy.
Are you afraid that something like this might happen again? Has it entered your mind that another sendong might hit you and your family, or your mother might get sick again, and stay in the hospital for longer periods of time?
Yes, I put that into consideration. It happened before. I wasn't prepared. It might happen again.
And yet, the difference is
I'm just prepared.
you're a lot better prepared
Yes.
now. Emotionally maybe and spiritually.
Yes, definitely.
What about you, Ma'am Laura? Would you say na if something like that would or should happen again, mas ready ka na kaya?
Yeah, I think so. Because 1 week after the burning of our house, we saw or we met the fire trucks, and then we saw the smoke, thick smoke in the adjacent barangay. So, parang hindi na ako na-panic.
So kumbaga parang nasanay ka na at alam mo na anong gagawin mo. Hindi yung you stayed rooted to the place, parang hindi mo alam kung tatakbo ka or bubuksan mo yung kwarto, di ba?
Hindi na.
Kasi pag nagpanic tayo, yun yung pinakamahirap sa lahat eh. Tragedies like this can happen to anybody. Panic should not be, a thing that should be there. It should be being level-headed and knowing what to do, di ba, Ken? That's what you did. Ganon din ang ginawa ni Ma'am Laura at ng anak niya na hindi kayo sumugo doon, kundi lumabas kayo, di ba? So, what is your prayer after the tragedy? Let's ask si Sir Eve muna.
My prayer, Doctor, was to the Lord that He will make us strong because of the tragedy, and those things were just part of life's experience, and this experience will teach us that life is not on things like the house. It's more on a relationship with God, a relationship with the family. That is the bulwark of our being a family that stays together and prays together.
Okay. What about you, Ma'am Laura? In your quiet moments now, what do you wish for your life and for that of your loved ones?
I always have the wish, and which is we are enjoying with my family. So to be always together, to have a strong relationship, united always, harmonious, peaceful.
So kumbaga, ma'am, parang mas na-realize ninyo nung nangyari yon na kumbaga, meron pang mas mahahalagang bagay kesa doon sa ating bahay.
Yeah. I realized that there is still great things to happen in the future, the coming days.
Napakaganda ng inyong mga attitudes, ano? Not everybody's like that. We know that for a fact, no? And so, I'm very sure na yung mga viewers natin, nakaka-relate sila at alam nila kasi meron din naman silang mga pinagdadaanan ngayon na similar to what you are going through and what you have been through. What about you, Ken? What do you look forward to in the coming year?
First, I gotta rebuild that house.
Beautiful, okay. And then?
Second, I would like to always remind my siblings, the younger ones, that these tragedies just don't happen just like that. It has to be for a purpose. And it's a difference with younger people because they don't see the relevance, especially if they don't pay the bills and all those. But it's a really good experience that it happened. I keep reminding them, and I hope they would still remember these things that would make them stronger in the future. It might even be a means of how they interact with life and interact with other people.
And maybe also, it would be a good thing also, sharing your experience that sometimes values has to be reviewed and priorities in life.
God has a very weird sense of humor when it comes to reminding you about these things.
So the humor must be something that we can ride on and laugh with, right? Sa inyo naman po, Sir Eve, napakasaya dapat ng Pasko kasi Pasko na, di ba? Parang napakalungkot naman ang pinag-uusapan natin. All I want for Christmas is a new love, All I want for Christmas is a new house. So sa inyo naman po, Sir Eve, ano naman po yung inyong wish ninyo for Christmas?
Doctor, I would be hypocrite if not going to dream of something like a good house or rebuilding the house and material things that we lost during the fire.
Kumbaga,
but for me, the most important thing is that we'll be able to rebuild or make our family stronger with the love that we have with each other, my love to our children, my family, grandchildren. I think that's the most important thing to me that I would wish from the Lord for this Christmas, that the family will be strong, will be together, will be a loving family, respectful family, and God-fearing family.
Okay, napakaganda naman ng wish niyo. Kayo naman, Ma'am Laura, ang wish niyo din ganun ba kagaya kay Sir? O kaya naman, yung wish naman ninyo, meron ka na naman kusinang paglulutuan ng Noche Buena, di ba?
Every year, we usually gather during Christmas in our house.
So ngayong Christmas na to.
So, another house na naman. We are renting now a house, and we learn from them, from our children, that we will stay together during Christmas. So, that is all what I want, that my husband, our children, with their families, will be together during Christmas.
At saka bata pa naman kayo, di ba, Sir Eve? Kayang-kaya pang magpanday at gumawa ng bagong bahay para sa bagong taon. At next year, iimbitahin ko kayo at ipapakita ninyo sa Dynamic Living ano na yung bahay na ginawa ninyo. Di ba? That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And that would be a wonderful event for all of us. And for Ken also, maybe by next year, the following year, Ken would be able to show us better things that he has also have, you know, because life has to move on and to move forward. I'd like to thank you for sharing, you know, your tragic experiences, but it's not really tragic. Kasi look at the three of you. You're still brimming with life, and you are still, you know, very hopeful and thankful to the Lord with what you still have, di ba? Yun yung pinakamahalaga. Minsan nakakalimutan natin na nalulunod tayo sa ating sariling problema. Nakakalimutan natin ang magpasalamat kung anong meron pa tayong naiwan, no? So Ken, what would you like to tell our viewers on this Christmas season?
Well, first, I would like to wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas. The reason why it's Merry is you should be really happy about it. And just remember to be with your family when this merry moment happens. And don't forget the prayers, really, because these are something that we cannot touch but will still be there.
Sa inyo naman po, Sir Eve, ano naman po ang inyong wish sa ating mga viewers this Christmas season?
The real test in life is when we are struck with tragedies and how strong we are. And I would like to tell the audience or the people who are watching this Dynamic Living that life is not all material things, but life is beyond those things that we own. We're going to stick to God, and we're going to always praise and worship Him, because He is the giver of life. He's the giver of everything that we have. And so those things that happen to us are just tip of the iceberg of what God can really give to us in the future. So hopefully, Dictora, this Christmas will be all happy together with my family and the friends and the people who have shared their blessings to us financially and spiritually.
Yes, amen to that. And kayo naman po, Ma'am Laura, ano ang inyong Christmas wish sa ating mga tagapagpanood?
First of all, I wish you Merry Christmas, Doctora.
Yes, it's a beautiful Christmas.
And to our viewers, Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year. For me, I have realized that our trials now is just a little thing compared to the suffering by our Lord Jesus Christ when He was crucified. So, I take it as my share of suffering and offer it to the Lord. But I still believe that there is hope. As long as we believe in Him, we believe in His love, in His mercy, because He is a loving God. So, for us, let us not be afraid of the trials, because I remember the saying, behind the cloud the sun is shining.
There's always a silver lining, di
Yeah.
po ba? At napakaganda po noon. Remember, dear viewers, that tragedies can make or break a person. But look at my guests, no? It has never broken them. Instead, it has made them into what they are. And it is our prayer that you too, like King David when he says, I had fainted unless I believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Maligayang Pasko po sa ating lahat.